Here are my most
like
irreplaceable players this year in Major League Baseball. Number 5, Hyun-Jin Ryu. 2018, a 197. 2019, a 232. And in a shortened season last year, pitched pretty damn good. If Toronto's going anywhere, he has got to be healthy all year. Hey, Christian Yelich, no one was more affected with the pandemic protocols than obviously Christian Yelich. If he gets back old school, 44 bombs in 2019, they could win this division. I say Fernando Tatis because I truly feel no player is a bigger pulse of an entire city. The balloon would pop. I know the Padres are still talented without him and can get by without him, but I don't even want to imagine that scenario, okay? Jacob deGrom. The Mets have a chance to win the whole thing. They also have a chance to finish 4th if a guy like this goes down. He is the best player on the field every time he steps on it. And you're going to hear this a lot out of me. I'm not going to go with the full banana in the tailpipe on Shohei Ohtani and say he's going to hit 40 and win the Cy Young. No, I just need you to stay healthy all year and give them an honest chance every 6 days. I want to readjust that at the All-Star break and see pitching-wise how you feel. But if he can stay healthy, I think we forget, like I said, Rendon's and obviously Mike Trout. And there's other Dylan Bundys of the world. This team should be good enough to at least fight for the wild card.
Is the expectation for Ohtani sustainable? Throw 100, hit 30. Does he even want to do that? At some point, what does he want to do?
I'm almost to the point where with a guy like him, you almost feel like you got to go the other way, right? And what I mean by that is we want to protect and massage and make sure everything's perfect. And at some point, you got to go back to your Little League days, man. Like when you used to pitch and hit in the same game almost. Like it has to almost become Shohei's got to take ownership of his own career, I feel like. I'm not saying he doesn't. I have never spoken to him, but I'm saying, like, does he want to start? Can I use him out of the pen? Does he want to hit more? Like, all these questions I truly want answered. I feel like he needs to – I would love a situation where Joe Madden could walk up to him and him be like, I need a day. Instead of, these are the rules.
Well, that's the
Jabba
thing.
rules.
Joe Madden has said
that. I'm out on that.
There's not going to be any restrictions for Ohtani.
Yeah.
Front office has said he's going to play in the field. The day before he pitches, day after he pitches, he might hit on the days he pitches. So hopefully
that'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Beautiful Peggy Big fly. Ohtani sounds high. It is far. It is gone.
Last time we saw Ohtani was April 1st, and it was in that, April 4th, excuse me, and it was in that Sunday night game where he hurt himself. What are you expecting tonight from Ohtani?
When I take the earpiece out, Robert and Ron, I get asked more about him on the street than any guy that's currently playing baseball.
Me too. He's the unicorn, that's why.
He really is.
Yeah.
And you love his split finger.
I do love his split finger. You know, I was lucky enough that I pitched in an era where the split finger was very prevalent.
Yeah.
You know, in the 70s and the 80s, Jack Morris, Roger Craig, and others. Now, the last 10, 15 years or so, it's really been a pitch that a lot of organizations don't want their pitchers throwing. They think it leads to Tommy John.
That's what I was going to say.
They could hurt somebody. It really, really beats up the flexor tendon in your forearm. Now, when we watch Ohtani pitch, and I love what you said the other day. You said, listen, I want Ohtani. How is he going to help me beat other teams?
Yeah.
How is he going to be a major force for the Angels against other teams? Well, his issue has been when he throws his fastball, it sees a lot of the middle of the plate. His breaking ball has been erratic. And when I think of his fastball, I think sometimes that he gets behind in so many counts that he has to come back. And that's why that pitch count gets driven up. But that split finger is a difference maker. Hitters are 3 for 65 off this pitch. And you see there the overlay, so you got to cover for 100 if he's throwing his fastball for strikes, and then also have to handle that splitter. The problem for Shohei has been not enough fastballs for strikes to get into pitchers' counts where he can use that splitter. Because if he ever gets to that place, you saw 3 for 65, he is going to put away hitters. It could be good morning, good afternoon, good night kind of stuff, where he does keep his pitch count down, where he can get into the 5th or 6th inning for Joe Maddon's club. But this is the heat map. That's where the fastballs are going. They're either non-contested or they're right down the middle.
I mean, if you're facing Ohtani and he's throwing 100 miles an hour, I mean, my only thinking would be, I got to get here. I got to get here. And if it happens to be a split, I tip my hat and go.
That's right, exactly.
I think the thing for me is, like I said the other day, when it comes to the NFL, you see these guys move up the draft board because of a combine.
That's right.
And I'm in. Again, I put eyeballs on this guy a bunch of years ago doing late night Japanese games when Team USA went over there, me and Paul Severino in sweatpants, and I laid eyes on this guy at 4 in the morning. 4 in the morning, I'm like, oh my God. I called John Daniels. I'm like, you know who Shohei Ohtani? He's like, yeah, get in line. We've known about this guy for a long time. So I just want to know, like, it's been such kid gloves with him, and rightfully so. I just want him to be a dude.
Kick him out
the
door.
Go.
Kick him out the door. It's time for him to be outside of the house. Reliability.
Robert's a dude.
Exactly, I'm a dude.
Ichiro, beautiful, Peggy, big fly, Ohtani-san! That goes high, it is far, it is gone!
JP, how do you get all the good assignments? I'm so jealous. Good morning to you, my friend. I love when good things happen to good people, and Yu Darvish has carried himself with class through the ups and downs that the big leagues have brought him. We're seeing the ups. What stands out, JP?
Well, Lauren, good afternoon. And for me, it's the journey that Yu Darvish has had. You go back to the 2017 World Series, the disappointment there, the long free agency. He signs with the Cubs. And that first year did not go according to plan for Yu Darvish. Even some difficulties off the field. He was dealing with the terminal cancer diagnosis of his brother-in-law, who he's very close with, Norifumi Yamamoto, who tragically died at the end of that year. So he was dealing with that off the field. And on the field, he was still dealing with maybe going after the 2017 World Series, the way the Astros had such great success against him. Of course, the context came into full view later on with the sign-stealing scandal. But then as you see it there, the relationship with Vic Caratini that's really developed. His ability to communicate with teammates now is so strong. And Lauren, I was told that a key part of Yu Darvish's success has been journaling, old-fashioned journaling. When he was with the Cubs, part of his preparation with Caratini was he would take the look at the video through the Cubs data system, Ivy, and the analytics there, the video and data, and develop his game plan and actually write out in long form in these moleskin notebooks what his plan was going to be. And then he would commit that plan to memory. The old-fashioned written word, Lauren, was a key part of that relationship. And so when he was traded over to the Padres, his first question was, is Vic Caratini coming with me? And the answer was, of course, yes. And so now he's very comfortable. He's got his notebooks. He's got a great catcher in Caratini, and a big stage tonight going up against Clayton Kershaw on the Dodgers.
I journal. I don't strike out 15 a night. I mean, what's the difference, JP? Hey.
Fox Sports West, standing inside of the Change-Up Kitchen with the one and only Chef Robert. Chef, how you doing today?
I'm doing amazing today. How about you?
I'm absolutely amazing as well. And right behind us, we've got all kinds of delicious food that we're going to be tasting today. But first, for fans that don't know, you guys serve the players this food almost daily, right?
That is correct. And if you come up here and have, say, a brisket sandwich or some of the Dominican food, you're actually going to be eating the same food that the players eat on a regular basis.
That's kind of cool thinking I could be eating the same meal as Mike Trout right now.
That's amazing. I think that's pretty cool.
So cool. Well, I don't want to waste any more time. We've got all this delicious food back here right now, and we've got a bunch of players coming in this kitchen. Are you excited?
I'm super excited. I can't wait for them to get in here and try this food.
Let's go. Okay, boys, come on in. We'll line you up. Let's do it. Get in here. Come on. Here we go. Here we go.
Where do you want me?
Wherever you want to be.
Hey, put your fingers there, please. Please.
All right, you guys, welcome to the Change Up Kitchen. You've been here before.
I've been here before.
You've been here before. Have you been here?
First timer.
First timer. Oh my gosh. We're gonna dive right into it and taste test. What do you think looks good first? What do you want to do? Pick it.
This is the chicken. I'm gonna try the chicken.
The chicken? Okay, chef, what's in the chicken?
All right, this is our pollo guisado.
Okay.
And I know we've served it to you guys numerous times throughout
I've
the
seen
year.
this before.
Dominican braised chicken with some Dominican rice and black beans and some maduros, which are fried plantains.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, bringing it down.
It's a
You
great
both have
item.
to share. I can't wait to see what you guys think. What do you think?
It's good.
Good? You guys
Really,
get
really
this
good.
for dinner, for lunch? What's the deal?
Dinner, for the
Dinner.
most part, yeah.
What do we got next?
This is called pernil. This is braised pork.
When you were growing up, going to the ballpark, did you guys have food like this? Was it just hot dogs and nachos?
Hot dogs, nachos,
hamburgers.
chicken fingers, yeah. It wasn't nothing like this, for sure.
Do you have a favorite that you can remember?
I was probably a chicken finger kid, and just
I like nachos. I'm a big nacho guy.
chicken fingers were a good way to catch a ball game, I felt like.
Can we just call you the chicken finger kid?
No, you can't.
No, we can't. Okay. No, scratch that. What do you think?
His favorite was the rice ball.
Ah.
His go-to.
Are you eating down there, Ipe?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Is anyone watching him?
All I know is there's 2 forks right here, and there's so okay.
Uh-huh. There it is. Okay. All right, so now we've got some sandwiches.
All
I
right,
see.
moving on, we got some sandwiches. We're gonna start off with our house-made smoked Cajun sausage. Then also we have a pit beef sandwich.
What's a pit beef? Do you know?
Beef.
Do you know?
I'm not the chef.
Okay, boys. You guys gather around, grab a slice. See what we got.
And the sausage is a little spicy as well.
Good right. Good right.
It's a
Here we
big
go.
sandwich right there.
All right, fellas, thoughts?
You're right. It is spicy.
Is it?
That's good though.
Do you like spicy stuff?
Yeah, I love spicy stuff.
You do?
Wow, it's really spicy.
It's kicking in now.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What do you got, Shotani?
So it's actually
Oh, Otani, sorry.
All right, our last 2 items that we're gonna showcase this year in Change Up Kitchen, we have an Italian beef sandwich, classic from Chicago. And then all the way at the end, our house smoked brisket. We smoke a ton of brisket at the stadium.
Okay.
Like about 40,000 pounds a year.
Oh, wow.
I need a napkin too.
Oh my God. We've got red alert,
That
food on the ground.
We dropping food.
that brisket's good.
Cole?
Good flavor.
I got one right here.
Okay.
Oh man, you got stuff all over my shoes.
There's stuff everywhere, man. This one's a little messy, but it's really, really good.
Shohei, do you cook at home?
No chance.
What?
Shotani.
He's single.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right. Very nice.
Someone has to do it. What's your favorite thing to cook at home?
Omelet.
Omelet.
That's a nice dish to have at home.
Yeah. Jeez.
Learn something new every day.
Maybe next year on the menu we have
We'll
a
have him cook an
Shohei
omelet, yeah.
omelet.
We should do that.
Yes, please put him on the spot,
We
please.
should.
Fellas, thank you so much for stopping by, trying this food yet again. If you were to tell Angels fans to get to the Change Up Kitchen, to try some of this food, what would you say to bring everybody in here?
Yeah, I think there's just a little something for everybody here, and definitely some good sandwiches in here, and just good food to kind of complement a ball game.
There you go. Shohei?
Because all the food here is the same food as the players eat, so you guys can enjoy the same food. That's great. And hopefully we can all win together.
Incredible. Well said, guys. Thank you so much for coming. And Chef Robert, thank you for making all this amazing
Chef,
food.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you guys. I
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Kills it every single year.
Beautiful Peggy Big fly. Ohtani-san. That is high. It is far. It is gone.
We have have the man himself, Joe Madden, the manager of the Angels. And, Joe, we were just talking about Shohei Ohtani. I saw him pitch and hit on Sunday, and I was dancing. Are we going to see that this year?
I hope so. That was the point, was to get him out there and try it right now and see how he felt. Obviously, it was pretty good. He starts out the game with a line drive to left center. He goes out to the mound. He throws up to 101 miles an hour with really good breaking stuff, too. His breaking ball, slider, curve, whatever, in his split. Good command overall. He's running well, stole a base yesterday. He's playing a complete game of baseball right now. It's really been fun to watch.
Well, I noticed you let him off, too, and he can fly. That was the one thing that stood out a couple years ago when I saw him in person. Are we going to see him leading off this year?
You know, it's either that or two. I'm working on that right now. I thought, you know, just from a trying to pinpoint how can we utilize his at-bats most early when he pitches. Not necessarily when he's playing. If he's a DH, he's got the full benefit of 9 innings or whatever. But as a pitcher, you don't know how long he's going to go into the game. And I didn't want to move him down in the batting order and have to take him out before we get maybe one more at bat out of him. So that was my thought process in doing that. I don't know. I'm thinking 1-2. I like him in the 2-hole also. It also keeps Trouty behind him all the time, which then would make other teams have to pitch to him regardless as the game is in progress. So I'd like to just have him settle into one spot because we're all seeing really a special year on the horizon for him.
Yeah, and I found that interesting, too, that you want to hit Trout behind him. Does that mean we're going to see Mike in the 3 spot more than we have in the past?
Yeah, I mean, you know, this thing about, you know, the best hitter in a 2-hole and the 3-hole comes up with 2 outs and nobody on more than any other spot. I think that's just a kind of a bias from the first time through the batting order. I like in the first time through that Mike has a chance to have 2 guys on in front of him as opposed to just 1. And then we'll see what happens, because after that it becomes serendipitous anyway. So I like him there because then Anthony's sitting behind him and then we'll set it up behind him. I like it. I like it. It tastes real good right now. We'll see how it plays out. You always have to be ready to make adaptations, but for right now, I kind of like it.
It feels like this is more your team this year. You know, last year was so different with COVID, 60 games, not a real spring training, all that. So team building, Joe, that's something you've always done. Even back when I was playing with the Angels and you were a coach. What do you have up your sleeve this year for building unity with this club?
The GGA.
The GGA. All right, you got to tell me what that means.
The Gallego Golf Association. Try not to 3-putt is our slogan. And I've really, the coaches and I have been getting after it a lot. And also we had an off day recently, and the foursome in front of us was Dexter, J-Up, Mikey, and Pujols. My God, it's so mentally devastating. It's so humbling to watch those 4 tee off in front of you. And so on the road, we're going to play on the road whenever it's possible this year and bring the GGA on the road. And as players, if they want to participate, they're in. Hopefully, we're going to really put that on the map this year.
I love it. I love it. Joe, it puts a smile on my face. We're getting back to normal. I'm talking to Joe Madden about baseball and things off the field. It's really cool. Thanks for the time, Joe. Appreciate you. Go get them this year.
Always great to be in your presence, Harry. Thanks a lot, buddy.
So he is kind of proven as a hitter and a pitcher, but can he do the same things at the same time and stay healthy? He's only, Joe, going into his age 26 season, which is amazing. You saw a little bit of it last night. Can it happen? Like, before we get into the game itself, do you think this can happen at the same time, pitching and hitting?
I'm a fan of trying it because of just how fun watching last night's game was. I mean, the guy who was the starting pitcher in the game hit the hardest exit velocity homer in the StatCast era for the Angels. And Mike Trout is on the team, right? Justin Upton is on that team. The guy who pitched last night has the hardest home run of the StatCast era for the Angels. He also threw a pitch over 100 miles an hour, I think 9 times last night. He went 100. It's right. You know, like we think of our sport more and more as a regional sport. What makes it national? Well, I wasn't going to miss that. That made it national for me. So I hope he continues to try it, and I hope it works, because it then will encourage others to do it.
All right. You don't sound overly optimistic, but you want it to work. Right. You want it to work.
Same thing. I really, really want this to work. Were I to bet on it, I don't know if I'd bet on it. I don't know if it's statistically likely that it will work. I mean, we've seen 3 years here where it hasn't worked. It did work in Japan for 3 years, but not over here. And so I don't know how likely it is, but it's so great to be able to see stuff like last night and know the possibilities, right? Know that we're seeing something, because when we cover this game, for decades, it's really fun to see something that you've never seen before. Right. That was last night, and he offers that promise for as long as he's playing. And credit to the Angels for, after 3 years where it didn't work, for trying again. I don't know how many more years they'll try, but they're going after it again to make him the full Ohtani experience.
Shohei Ohtani goes deep twice. His work on the mound, certainly always the subject of scrutiny. Right. How do you think the Angels will proceed with their utilization of Ohtani, and how do you think they should proceed?
Well, first of all, I'm going to channel myself into my best Al Leiter impersonation.
Uh-oh.
Because I've got this.
Gonna talk real fast?
I got plethora of notes right here. I even brought out the highlighter. And I wanted to try to go back and find out who Ohtani was. So December 2017, the LA Times, this is when they signed him, right? Mm-hmm. The LA Times said his fastball hums up to 100 miles an hour, which we've got to clean that up because no one says that in the baseball world. But they said it also has a complement of slider, splitter, and a curve. As a hitter, his power is prodigious. Mm-hmm. They threw that out there on him. So then he shows up in the spring of 2018. He promptly goes 4 for 32 as an offensive player, and he only pitched 2 2/3 innings in the spring training games, gave up 9 runs and 9 hits, 3 of them being bombs. So you're sitting there going, okay, what is he? That's his first spring training. How does he make a club? Well, he did make a club. And in 2018, he started 1 for 5 as an opening day DH. Here's what interests me a little bit about how they used him then. He wasn't DHing a couple days prior to when he pitched, and he didn't really DH the day after he pitched. So that's 3 right there that he's missing. So when you look back at what he was able to do, he ran a 3-game stretch early where he had 3 homers in 3 consecutive days. And you're going, okay, this is pretty cool. Then he pitched in a game against Oakland. He went 7 innings pitched, gave up 1 hit. He had a perfecto into the 7th, by the way. So now we're thinking, okay, there's the Ohtani that he went out there and signed. Interesting. He went on the DL, right, with a little bit of elbow problem. He came back and made 1 pitching appearance before he went down to TJ. But during the year in 2018, he had 285, 22 bombs, 61 ribbies. Earned him Rookie of the Year. Wow. So now you're thinking, okay, maybe the pitching stuff's not going to work because he just got hurt and he can swing the bat. 2019 rolls around. He struggled the first month. He's not going to pitch, right, because of the TJ. But he is going to hit. He struggled the first month, but then in his last 84 games, hit 305, 15 homers, with a 914 OPS. We'll take that.
Keep him in the lineup.
We will sign up for that.
Right.
I'm on board with that. 2020 season, he only made 2 appearances on the mound before they shut him down, and with the flexor problem. He remained the DH, but he only hit a .190 with 7 home runs in 44 games. So you're going, okay, what do we have in this guy when you're looking at that situation? Now in spring, he hasn't thrown the ball that well, but he's swinging the bat. So to your initial question was, how would you use him? I like what Dan O'Dowd, I think, said this a couple years ago.
He did.
Where he said, what's so wrong about making this dude a 1-inning guy at the back end of the game? Because he has thrown some butter.
Yes.
So what about that? And you can DH him all the way through.
I'd sign up for that.
And I would love this. I'd love to see him DHing in a game, go and bridge, have the lead. He walks through the tunnel or out through the field, warms up in the pen, comes back into the game, and then closes it out for the save. That's what I think they ought to do with him, because the 2-way street, I'm still a little skeptical. How is that going to work? can you really get 30 starts out of him and expect him to go 30 homers?
I would not think so.
I don't think so, but I think you can say, okay, here's 50 innings pitched, save me 40 games, because if we're winning a game, we absolutely need to win. And I believe that if it's the only way the Angels are going to contend for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
I think the Astros are better, and I think Oakland are better. But if they have all these things firing on one cylinder, and Ohtani might be a big part at the back end of that game. So if it happens, we give Dan O'Dowd all the credit.
Absolutely.
Because he's been saying this for a couple of years.
He has been for a couple of years.
You know, it's funny. You watch like the NFL Combine and you get enamored with players. I don't want it to become a combine where we're looking at Shohei Ohtani and like, oh, his sprint speed's through the roof. He hits the ball harder than anyone. He throws it harder than anyone. But are you a good ball player? Like, can you get it done and help us get to the postseason? That's what I need, okay? And that's what he's showing. But when I watch him, I want to take a look. Let's dive in, because he had a monster spring training. And anyone who's been out to Arizona knows the ball does travel. It's a little drier out there. But these are tape measure shots. Tempe's not easy to go deep. Back this up real quick. This is Shane Bieber, and I know, listen, he was working on something this day. I remember this. He's getting tagged 7-2. Watch this game at my house. So he was working on heater command, maybe another pitch, and was giving up a lot of knocks he wouldn't normally give up. And I actually think this is the day Ahmed Rosario tried to play center field for the first time in Cleveland and made carnival out there in center, and it ended up getting away from him in spring training. That's Shane Bieber on the mound. We're in spring training, run this. This is dead center over the batter's eye in Tempe Diablo Stadium. There ain't many guys going there in batting practice. Left on left. Back that up real quick. I'm going to be tight, I promise. This ball's inside. Run it. Pulls his hands in and takes that out dead left field. He does things other guys can't, which is awesome. But I don't think he's lost kind of that Asian influence that he's come over with. And that's what I love. Some of the players that have come before him, I see within his game. We're seeing a lot of hybrid. I feel like he's got a little Ichiro. And what I mean, stay here. When you watched Ichiro play, or when I played against him, it's almost as if he would pick and choose every once in a while when he wanted to, at the point of contact, almost be moving towards first base. He was indefensible at times. He'd hit a ball as shortstop and just be moving and just beat it out. And I feel like there's a little lean at times with Ohtani, kind of a la Ichiro, to get moving towards first base. So run that. I think that's pretty cool, because we'll get into some of the sprint speed stuff. Combine-wise, he is one of the fastest players in the game. You watched it last night. He's straight out beating out ground balls on the infield, stealing bags, getting down. And then I also feel I see a little Hideki Matsui. And I don't think this guy got enough run. World Series MVP number 55, Godzilla coming into Yankee Stadium, going second deck. Big lower half, more of a power guy. So he gives you a little bit of Ichiro and a little bit of Matsui all rolled into one. And I think that's kind of the modern game. We're getting a lot of hybrids. Does he throw a slider or a cutter? No, it's a hybrid between the two. This type of player, he can beat you in so many different ways. It's pretty impressive. Take a look at this. StatCast notes, 27.3% barrel percentage, best among MLB qualifiers. Take a look at the sprint speed, getting down the line, 9th best. And then we know what he could do on the mound, fastball velocity, second in MLB among starting pitchers. But I want to focus on his offense, guys, just because really impressive in the box, athletic, just a big, fun guy to watch.
Ichiro, beautiful, pegging, game fly, Ohtani-san! That ball is high, it is far, it is gone!
Tom Verducci joins us on the Monday program to talk about Shohei Ohtani, what he's working on, and what, in fact, the Angels can count on from him in 2021. Tom, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Hey, yeah, let's talk about what he worked on in the offseason, because last year, I mean, that was a throwaway year for a lot of players. But for Ohtani, I don't think he was healthy. Remember, he had a bad knee in 19. Then he had knee surgery. And to me, he either wasn't confident with the knee or the strength just wasn't there. So this offseason, he's worked really hard. He changed his diet. He actually went to Driveline to work on his pitching mechanics. But what he did offensively is he really worked on keeping his back foot down and his backside through the baseball. Let's go back to 18, when Ohtani basically showed everybody what kind of power he had to all fields. Reminded me of Darryl Strawberry with the leverage he got into his swing. But take this back. I want to show you, look at his backside here, the back leg. The back knee will turn into the baseball. He's hitting off a really firm front side, but the key is he's getting his backside through the ball. The back foot is down on the ground, and he's got what I call that trophy finish because his balance is so good. Take a look at some of these home runs from 18 and pay attention to his back leg. You see how he gets it through the baseball, that left knee driving forward, front side is really firm. This guy's got tremendous power. Now let's look now at what happened last year with Ohtani. Even sometimes when he hit the ball, it just wasn't coming off his bat the same. This ball right here off Jake McGee, looks like he got it. Not really, it's kind of warning track power. But let's take this one back too. And let's take a look now at that back leg and foot, what happens. Watch the back foot slide behind him. The front side isn't nearly as firm, so he's essentially hitting with one side. And we saw this over and over again. Take a look at these swings, especially his back side. The leg is just not getting through, the foot sliding behind him, and you're seeing that front side collapse. That to me tells me that that back side, that back knee just isn't as strong. Here's the same pitch, 18 on your left, 20 on the right. There's just not the same turn through the baseball that you saw in 18. So again, a lot of guys last year, had a bad year. For Ohtani, I can throw it out. When I see him take these kind of swings, that's not the full turn through the baseball we saw from Ohtani at 18. The word already in camp is he's back to the 18 swing. He threw on the mound a batting practice session where he hit 97 miles per hour. We saw him on the mound briefly last year. He threw 80 pitches. Only once hit 97. So everything is pointing upwards right now for Ohtani. And by the way, guys, we talk about, how are they going to use him? They have to be careful with him. Joe Madden is telling people the rules for Ohtani this spring, there are no rules. We want this guy to be a baseball player. Just let him go. But I think he's in really good shape mentally and especially physically.
Wow, that's fascinating stuff. I agree with you that the injuries in 2020, you know, the Angels, if you really consider the time he's been there, a very short period of time, they have not had Shohei Ohtani at the peak of his powers for a very long time at all. That's why the Angels are such a hard team to handicap this year.
So, Tom, would you be tempted? I know he's an offensive force, but they've got offense. Would they be tempted to just have him pitch?
No, they're not there at that point yet. I mean, the offense is just too good. I mean, if he was just an offensive player, he's going to hit in the middle of anybody's lineup. He's a game changer. So I think the deal is now, as Matt said, we really haven't seen him totally at his full powers, maybe briefly at 18. So the upside here is just tremendous. You're talking, I think he's one of the, if not the most talented player in the game. When you talk about somebody who can throw the ball as hard as Garrett Cole and hit it as hard as Aaron Judge, name me anybody else in this universe who can do that.
All right, Ron Darling, I said it earlier, Shohei is almost like a comet, right? I mean, just the things that you don't see it very often, but it was good, and then it kind of turned scary at the end. What did you make of the play at the plate, how they used him? What did you make of it all?
Well, first, I think when you think of Shohei, when he first came over to the States, there was this cultural language issue, like, you know, what are we going to do with this guy? We got the unicorn.
Yep.
What are we going to do with it? Because Major League Baseball has never been there before. Now, D-Row said it completely right. Every ball player, 50%, 60% of ball players begin their career as striking everybody out, go and bridge, best player in their town, their hamlet, their city, watch me play, I'm the best. And then you get to a certain age and you kind of branch to where you're going to go. Most disappointing day I ever had was with my college coach who told me when I was 20 years old, you want to play pro ball? I said, of course I do. He goes, not going to be able to play anymore, you have to pitch. It was the most disappointing day in my entire life, and he was right. I think that's the problem when we watched the game last night, is that we're talking about a guy that Major League Baseball didn't know what to do. The Angels didn't know what to do with him. Do we take care of him? Do we protect him? Do we let him play? Do we let him pitch more? Do we let him hit? And you got to a point, I think, where you just have to unfetter him, let him go. If they're going to be a good ball club, he's got to make 20 starts, 22 starts this year, because the hitting part, I think, comes easier to him.
It's there.
Yeah.
We've all had different opinions on what should be done with Shohei Ohtani. Have you differed at all from the beginning?
My only question is, I would love to sit down with him and know what's in his heart. Is he dead set on starting games? Does that make him happy? I want to be a starter. Some guys don't care. Some guys truly want to just be a starter and not a bullpen guy. How did he feel about hitting 2 last night? Does he want to hit when he pitches? Does he want a day off before he pitches? I would just try and empower him to take ownership of how he feels. Gary Sheffield said something to me, like, 3-4 years into my career, he goes, listen to your body. It's the dumbest thing. But as competitors, all we know is yes, coach, I'm going to push through. My shoulder hurts, but I got to get a lift in after today's game. No, you have to take ownership in being on the field. You want to get paid? Be on the field, period. And that would be my question to him. Like, how can we maximize your on the field as much as possible?
What did you think of Shohei Ohtani as a pitcher last night?
Well, I think, he's got all the physical gifts. We know that. I think the thing that separates him from being DeGrom or Cole someday, to me, is just fastball command. He's got the foundation to be one of the best pitchers in this game, top 5 easily. The slider is a good pitch. The fastball at 100 plus. The split finger is one of the nastiest pitches in the game. The problem, because of the fastball command or lack thereof at times, he's never able to get into that pitcher count like he was with Adam Eaton, where Adam Eaton is a real good Major League ball player, had no shot. So until he gets that fastball command and gets to a place where he can throw it where he wants to, like DeGrom and Cole, then you'll start seeing success that they have also. And what D-Rose saying was I found really interesting. I think you're absolutely 100% right. How do you get in his head? But I think they've tried. They've had too many conversations with him. Ball players want to be led. Tell me what you want me to do. What do I need to do? Because he could be the greatest ball player that ever lived.
It was interesting last night to hear Joe Madden discuss, because he's hitting 2, right? So as soon as you take him out of the game, you want to maximize as many bats as you can get out of him. You stick him up at the top of the order. You can even lead him off, grab the 4 ABs. But then you lose the DH, so you've got to be prepared for. I mean, it's
very interesting.
One thing I want to ask you though, because I watched him, the one thing I do notice about him is that when he knows he's not running on fumes, but knows this might be my last hitter, this might be my last, man, I just would love to see him rear back and give me 101. I felt like he nibbled against Abreu in the 5th. He nibbled against a couple other guys, and it ended up costing him to have to come out of that game.
I think there's a perfection gene that he has, that when he throws a pitch that's not the pitch he envisioned himself throwing, his shoulders shrug a little down. He's like, instead of standing tall, I'm like, okay, I made a mistake. Here's the next one coming. But,
it almost has to be perfect. He feels like he's under such a microscope that we're like, ooh, he didn't throw the perfect slider.
He is kind of.
I know. I would tell him as a teammate,
just let it rip.
Man, stop worrying about it. Stop worrying about
it. Easy. Beautiful Peggy Big fly. Ohtani's out. It is high. It is far. It is gone.
What's up, everybody? I'm Taylor Felix. Welcome back to the Change Up Kitchen. Clearly, we have way too many cooks in the kitchen, but we're gonna have some fun. Earlier this season, you saw Carlin testing out the Asian cuisine inspired by Shohei Ohtani, but it's a new month, which means a new menu.
We thought we'd bring in 3 of the experts who each of these dishes were inspired by. Shohei, I just wanted to ask you, do you have a specific food back home that you really just love to eat every time?
Sushi is my favorite food.
Yeah! Chef, it's so cool to have menus inspired by the players. What's the feedback been like?
It's been amazing. Inspired by Shohei, what we have is some Japanese-inspired food. We have a pork katsu with a Japanese curry. Seeing where Justin's from and seeing that it's the all-American menu, we really tried to do a great burger. You know, we really tried to do him proud by getting great flavors, getting great products, sourcing local ingredients.
So I have a question about the burgers. The single burger, the double burger, or the triple burger. What's your go-to?
Triple's too much,
Oh.
single's too little, double's perfect.
Double's perfect.
Lots of cheese. Yeah, I may throw some lettuce on there just for the look, but I just like a big juicy burger.
take it
some
off,
fried.
Chef Robert, obviously, the Philly menu is inspired by our very own Mike Trout.
We tried to go and do a lot of research on authentic flavors that we could get from there. We're doing Philly cheesesteaks. We've flown in Amoroso rolls. We're doing a pork dip sandwich inspired by Nick's. Hopefully we did good on it.
Yeah, you did great. It looks great.
Made him proud.
Now, Mike, this is a cheesesteak that we've got going on here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to share this, if I can just go on in.
Go ahead.
All right, we're going in.
It's shaved ribeye. We have some cheese sauce, some caramelized onions,
Okay.
and an Amoroso roll flown in from Philadelphia.
You got it. Shohei, have you ever had a cheesesteak?
Cheesesteak食べたことある? Never tried.
Do you want to start today?
Yeah, he would. He would
Yes.
love to.
Come on in. Let's go. Here.
So he bites the other
Oh, he
side.
just goes right in.
Okay. Very good.
Okay. High five, Chef Robert.
What do we got here?
That's actually teriyaki chicken.
Yep. That was on Shohei's menu.
Show you. I'll try that.
Yeah, let's do it.
I like chicken.
If you dig
I like
in,
broccoli too.
it won't
That's
hurt
good.
you.
That's really good.
Yeah, try this cheese.
Oh, yeah. We're going in. Thumbs up.
There we go.
Nailed it again.
That's
Love
legit.
it. Love
Cheesesteaks
it.
for the hit.
Chef Robert, my favorite part of any meal is the dessert. And we've got some delicious desserts here. This matcha tea cheesecake is like probably my favorite dessert I've ever had. Shohei, cheesecake, matcha cheesecake.
He loves cheesecake.
Please try. It's
How
so
much did you
good. Okay. Another thumbs up. I love it.
We're going milkshake.
Yeah.
I guess I got to try the water ice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
It's really
Yeah.
good.
Milkshake for sure. So I have a question about water ice. What's the deal?
It's refreshing.
Okay.
You know, when it's hot, you want something cold, and it's got some good flavor to it.
Good old water
Yeah, it's
ice.
good stuff.
I want everybody to grab a milkshake. Give yourself a milkshake mustache. Okay. And we're gonna say, go Angels. 2, 3, go Angels! Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Thanks for hanging with us.